Buenos días, Brooklyn. ¿Cómo estamos? How are we today? Good? Did you have a good evening? See? Muy bien. Estoy bien, gracias. Estoy bien. So, Brooklyn, tell me about your Spanish last year. Uh, where did you have your Spanish, or what was your Spanish like? Tell me a little bit about it. And you can unmute if you'd rather. It's fine. Oh, okay. All right. So this will be all different for you then. Like you didn't have any grammar with Duolingo like that. Okay. Feliz jueves, Joe Marion, Jojo, ¿dónde estás? Where are you? Buenos días. Buenos dias. So our warm up today is a little different. I'm going to need to share my screen and not put it in the background. So I'm going to wait until everybody else joins us, and then we'll do our warm up together. Okay. Joe Marion, how was your evening? How was your evening? You guys, believe it or not, right? You can see in my background, hoy es jueves. Today is Thursday. Hoy es jueves. See, good, Joe Marion. We have already check, right? That first week off of school. Can you believe that? Almost there. Almost that first week of school. That's crazy. Goes quickly. Goes quickly. All right, one more minute. We'll see who shows up. And then I'll share that screen with you guys. So Brooklyn, if you had mostly Duolingo as Spanish 1, this is going to, wow, this will be a way different experience for you. Buenos días, Malia. Feliz jueves. Happy Thursday. ¿Cómo estás? Hola, Marlesia. ¿Cómo estamos? How are we? Anybody do anything fun yesterday after school? Nothing fun after school yesterday. You guys still have summer going on, right? Like pools open and this, that, and the other. Y'all do that? You ever do that? Yeah. Tuesdays, Brooke, it's you would sign up in the calendar and Canvas. Anyway, Brooke, if you go to your Canvas page, there's go to the Learning Vault button. It's all in there. Okay. Okay, buenos dias a todos. So we're going to start today. I know we're missing our shot, but I have a little different warm up, So I do want to say this, though. I was saying, I think before Marlesia, logged in was, unbelievably, we're already at the end, almost at the end of the first week of school, right? So what I want to do today is continue like our review of stuff and just make sure that if you guys have any questions or you tell me, hey, I don't know this, or whatever, right? We got to touch base a little bit. Buenos dias, Arshad. And so, yesterday, or was it yesterday? Yeah, yesterday we talked about what is a cognate, and we did like some question words and stuff like that because we had a shorter period. So today, what I'd like us to do is kind of continue our review. Okay. And so behind me, you guys, again, just to kind of get used to what we do here. Hoy es jueves. Today is Thursday, el 7 agosto, 7th of August. Y hoy vamos so we're going to repasar los números. So we're going to review numbers. Y los colores, right? So I have some games for us, right? Vamos a practicar los subject pronouns, right? We're going to practice subject pronouns if we get to them. You guys know I always over plan, okay? Y vamos a empezar una actividad sobre ser y estar. And honestly, we probably won't get to that until maybe Monday, okay? But que tengan un buen fin de semana. I hope you all have a good weekend. Again, tomorrow we don't have class, right? You all have your other schedule tomorrow, okay? So just kind of keep everybody straight. Okay, so I'm going to share my warm-up with us today. I have about 10,000 tabs open, so, you have to bear with me today. Okay. I'm going to share my screen. Let me know if you have trouble seeing. Okay. All right. Can y'all see my screen? Thumbs up me. See? Gracias, Marlecia. Okay. So remember yesterday we talked about cognates. They have to have the same meaning. They're going to look similar. They're going to be spelled similar, English and Spanish, right? They have to have the same meaning. There are those things that are false cognates, right? Cuñados falsos or falsos amigos, okay? So what are 3 cognates in the passage below? And tell me what you think they mean in English, right? So take a look at it. It says, la escuela empieza a las 8:05 de la mañana. Para la clase de matemáticas, yo necesito una calculadora. Para la clase de arte, necesito crayones. Me gusta la profesora de ciencias. Ella es muy inteligente y cómica. So, looking at this, can you pick out 3 words that you figure are cognates that look similar to English and have the same meaning? Very good. Very good, Jo Marion. Marlecia, muy bien. Good, Malia. Any more, Jo Marion? Malia? Let's see if we can find 3. How about you, Arshad? Can you pick out 3 words that are cognates? Yeah, very good. Calculadora, calculadora, calculadora. Anybody else? Arshad, how about you? Yeah, very good, Malia. Anyone else? All right, good job, you guys. So here's what I see. I see, very good, Brooklyn. All right, so I see maybe escuela. Who remembers what is an escuela, clase? Escuela? What are we talking about here? It's talking about clase, clases, profesores, right? School. So escuela, school, maybe. Okay, maybe. And then some of you told me matemáticas, so mathematics, right? How about this word? Clase. What is a clase? La clase de matemáticas, a class. Muy bien. And you guys feel free to unmute, right? You don't have to just answer in the chat. And then we have yo necesito una calculadora. Some of you told me calculadora. So what is that? Calculadora en la clase de matemáticas. ¿Qué es una calculadora? Yes, a calculator. Muy bien. So how about this word right here? Could this be a cognate? The sentence says, para la clase de matemáticas, for math class, yo necesito una calculadora. What do you think necesito could mean? Necessary, yeah. So it comes from necessary. So that is actually a cognate too. But sometimes, you know, you guys, we have to like think sort of outside the normal lines, if you will. So for math class, I need, right? If it's something is necessary, it's something that I need, right? Good connections, right? We got to make these connections. I need a calculator, okay? And then we have clase again. And so what about arte? Is that a cognate, you guys? Arte? What do you think? Sí o no? Sí, okay, meaning art. And it says necesito crayones. Now, we might think it's crayons, yeah, but what they mean are pencils. Okay, there's more than one word for pencil. And so crayones is also a word for pencil. So that's kind of, I don't know if that's a false cognate necessarily, but could be. All right, then some of you told me la profesora, the teacher, me gusta, I like the teacher, de ciencias. And I think somebody told me ciencias. What is ciencias? Malia, what is ciencias? Jomarian? Arshad? Me gusta la profesora de ciencias. What do you guys guess that could be? We're talking about school. So what school subject could this be? Ciencias. Science. Muy bien. I like the science teacher. Ella es muy inteligente y cómica. So what are the two cognates in this very last sentence? Who can help me out here? Jomarian, what, pick out a cognate in this very last sentence, por favor. Ella es muy inteligente y cómica. Yes, very good, Malia. Anybody else? Muy bien, inteligente, very good. Y cómica, right? The science teacher is very intelligent and comical or funny. I mean, we would just use the word funny, right? Divertida would be another word for cómica, okay? All right, good job, you guys. Fantásticos, fantásticos. All right. So are we ready to review some things? See? All right, so let's start with some numbers. First of all, in the chat box, can y'all give me a clue? In Spanish, just guess, right? It doesn't have to be exact, of course. How far do you think you could count in Spanish? Pop it in the chat. 0 to 5, 0 to 10, 0 to 100. What do y'all think? Pop it in the chat. Kind of give me an idea of what you think you know. Okay, good, Marleisha. Good, Arshad. Good, Brooklyn. Anybody else? How far do you think you could count in Spanish? Okay, I got you. Okay, so give me a second. Let's see if I can find my video. Like I said, I got a million of them pulled up here. Okay. All right, so make sure that you all can hear and see my screen. I'm going to share. And then we'll play a little game. Yeah. All right, here we go. So if you cannot see or hear, then just pop me a note in the chat. Okay. All right, here we go.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60, 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, 66, 67, 68, 69, 70, 71, 72, 73, 74, 75, 76, 77, 78, 79, 80, 81, 82, 83, 84, 85, 86, 87, 88, 89, 90, 91, 92, 93, 94, 95, 96, 97, 98, 99, 100.
All right, you guys. All right. Kind of a catchy tune. Muy bien. 100, like how many pennies are in a dollar, you guys? How many pennies are in a dollar? Anybody? How many pennies are in a dollar? What's your guess? Arshad, how many pennies in a dollar? Malia? I need y'all with me today. How many pennies in the dollar? Very good. 100. And what's another word for penny? What's another word for penny in English? If something costs, $5.10, right? CENTS. And who can tell me how many years in what do we call 100 years? What do we call them? Not a decade, but a what? A century. So you see that CENT, 100 pennies. That's why we call them cents. Yeah, 1 out of 100. Century, 100 years. So in Spanish, cien, they just drop the T, right? Cien, but then it becomes like 101, 101. So anything cien or ciento is 100. Yeah. Yeah, very good. See, it's all connected, right? Muy bien. Okay, so I'm going to ask you guys to join me in Canvas real quick. I need you to go to modules. I'm waiting on my computer. All right, I'm gonna share my screen. I think it's done flipping. Okay, so you should be here. It should look like this, right? So let's look at our library, our Spanish 2 resource library. Remember, we talked about that this week, about how everything you need is going to be in that library. And you shouldn't go online unless you're specifically asked to. But I went ahead and posted some stuff, right, that we're going to review here shortly, and some things just as reminders. So I want to show you, like yesterday we did the question words. So when you see something here that says like a visual guide, okay, you can click on it and you have a visual of the vocab that you need. Okay, so those things are helpful. So it's not like you have to, like, you know, look and search or whatever. If it's a visual thing, you know, it'll come up automatically, right? Like it's just a visual. But I want you to notice, you guys, here we have large numbers. So go ahead and click on your numbers. Right? And this one is a slideshow. It's got a couple of pages because, right, it gives us spelling, right? And it starts at, let me go back here if it's going to let me. Yeah. So it starts at 1, gives you all the spelling up to 100, right? And then up to 1,000 would be on the second page, and then 1,000,000 over here. Okay. So once again, you guys, all year long, if you need to remember something to do about numbers or how to spell them or something like that, just go to your library and you'll have them. Okay. All right. I want you to leave that up in a tab, like in your Canvas, and I'm going to give you a link here in just a second that you can open. Hopefully it works for us in another tab, because what I'd like you to do is to be able to, like, maybe move back and forth if you need to see the numbers vocabulary. Okay. All right. Give me a minute and I will get that link up for you in the chat, and you can, hopefully it'll work, you guys. I'm hoping. So this is just a quick game just to kind of get us in the mood. And I'm going to put it in the chat. Okay. And then let me know if it does not work for you. So it should look like this. So when you click on it, you guys, it's a maze. Yeah. If you don't like mazes, what you can do, if you take a look at my Zoom screen real quick, is over here on the right where it says switch template. You could try and see if it works in another mode if you don't like the maze. Okay. All right. So everybody's able to get in there from what y'all are telling me, right? All right. So let's practice these for a minute or 2 or 3, and then we'll move on. Hey, good job, you guys. Finished, Joe Marion? Brooklyn? All right, good job, Marlacia. All right, guys, another minute. All right, Arshad, good job. All right, you ready to switch gears, you guys? All right, back out of that, por favor. And what we're going to do is we're going to talk about our colors, los colores. Okay, so in the chat again, how many of you remember? How do you feel about your colors? Rather, do you think you remember them on a scale of 3, 2, 1? 3, I remember them totally. 2, I kind of remember them. 1, I don't know what you're talking about. So tell me in chat, how you feeling about your colors? 3, 2, 1. Okay. Anybody else? Yeah. All right. Muy bien. So, all right. So let's go ahead and back out. Brooklyn, Malia, let's go ahead and back out of that word wall. Gracias. So let's talk about colors 1 second, because they're super important, not just because they're colors, right? Not just because of knowing if it's blue or green or red or whatever, but because colors are describing words. We use them to describe, the dog is brown and white. Okay. We use them to describe. And in Spanish, describing words or adjectives their spelling is going to change depending upon 4 things, right, you guys? Depending upon 4 things. Those 4 things, whether or not what we're describing is masculine or feminine, singular or plural. It's always those 4 criteria. And you guys are going to hear me say that until you hate it, okay? Because that is the basis, right, of Spanish. Everything has a gender. Everything is either masculine or feminine. And they don't change. Like we can't make something masculine or feminine. It either is or it isn't already. And so if we're going to describe a thing, like when we use colors or any other describing words, tall, short, funny, sad, serious, whatever, we have to change those spellings to make them masculine, feminine, singular, or plural. Okay. And so colors are no different. Colors are describing words that their spelling has to be changed based on whether whatever we're talking about is masculine, feminine, singular, or plural. Okay. All right. Any questions about that whole masculine, feminine, singular, or plural thing before we go on to colors real quick? Okay. So let's take a second, clase, and let's just see if we can remember our colors. All right. So let me pull up again one of these 1,000 things that I have. tabs. All right. Okay. So just to warm us up again on colors, make sure you can hear my screen, make sure you can see my screen. I know this is for little kids, but you know, we're learning our colors, right? So here we go.
¿De qué color es la fresa? ¿De qué color es la fresa? La fresa es roja. La fresa es roja. ¿De qué color es tu camisa? ¿De qué color es tu camisa? Mi camisa.
Okay. So they want to tell us that the shirt is black, right? They want us to color the shirt black. Notice, you guys, the color comes out with an O at the end because our O tells us that something is masculine. And that masculine is always our default. That's where everything starts, at masculine and singular. Okay, if it's a describing word. So because a shirt happens to be feminine, camisa ends in an A, right? Then we have to change the spelling from an O to an A, right? Because we're describing a shirt that happens to be feminine. Okay. All right. So let's watch.
Es negra. Mi camisa es negra. ¿De qué color es el carro? ¿De qué color es el carro? El carro es morado. El carro es morado. ¿De qué color es la pera? ¿De qué color es la pera? La pera es verde. La pera es verde. ¿De qué color es el cielo? ¿De qué color es el cielo? El cielo es azul. El cielo es azul.
All right. So let's talk about azul real quick. So azul is one of those that does not end in an O or an A. So in a way, it's like both or neither, however you want to look at it, masculine or feminine. Okay. And so in this case, cielo is masculine, right? The sky. We don't have to make any changes. And if we were describing something blue that was feminine, we wouldn't have to make any changes either. So when do we change for describing words that end in something other than an O or an A? Well, the only time we have to make those changes is if it's plural. Okay. So if we have a describing word that does not end in an O or an A, then we don't have to worry about the gender. We just need to make it singular or plural, right? One item or more than one item, plural. Okay. Just quick reminders, you guys, we'll practice.
¿De qué color es el gorro? ¿De qué color es el gorro? El gorro es amarillo. El gorro es amarillo. ¿De qué color son las nubes? ¿De qué color son las nubes? Las nubes son blancas.
Okay, so las nubes, the clouds, are white. So notice now we have feminine, but now we have plural. We have more than one cloud. Okay, so real quick, you can unmute or pop it in the chat. Let's look at the sentence, las nubes son blancas. How do we know that nubes are feminine? What is our clue in this sentence that tells us nubes are feminine? Very good, Joe Marion. Anyone else? Very good, Brooklyn. Anyone else? Just remember that our chat box is like scrap paper, right? So that's where we're going to make our mistakes. So just pop any ideas in that scrap paper. So yes, so those of you tell me las because it's la, right? And then with the S on it, it tells us it's plural. So that means that our describing word that starts out as blanco, right, you guys? Masculine and singular, because that's our default setting. That's our beginning. That's where we start. has to change to become feminine and plural, las. And so notice blanco becomes blancas. Okay?
Las nubes son blancas.
Very good, you guys. All right, any questions there? All right, muy bien. All right, so let's do this. I told you today was going to be a little bit of this and a little bit of that, right? Second. All right, check your chat for a link and join me there, por favor. All right, Marleisha, good job. Jo Marion, Arshad, join me. Click on the link, please. Good, Brooklyn. Jo Marion, there you go. Okay. All right. Get ready to share here. 1, 2, 3, 4. We need one more person. There we go. All right. So this will be a quick game. It's only going to be like 4 minutes. I think I put in or 5 minutes. Again, just their colors, right? All right, here we go. All right, good job. Okay, about 2 more minutes. Thunder Breezer, let's see if you can work your way up to the top. Okay, about 1 more minute. All right, good job, you guys. Four seconds. All right, nicely done. Okay. Did you remember more than you thought you did? Let's hope. Yes. Yeah. Did you remember more than you thought you would? See? All right. Perfecto. Okay. So let's see what's our next best thing today. All right. How many of you, without my looking, I know some of you already have, how many of you have finished the escape room review? I think most of you have, right? Tell me in chat or give me a thumbs up. Okay. All right. Anyone else? Okay. I'm just debating on whether to start this next best thing or not. Well, let's just go ahead and do it right now. And if we run out of time, we run out of time. That's okay. Okay. All right, give me a minute and get my computer back up and functioning. So the tricky thing in Spanish sometimes, you guys, is the fact that they have, like, when we talk to people or when we talk about people, you know, and they also have that formal and informal, which is not really something we do in English. So who can tell me real quick, if I'm talking to one person who's my friend, how would I say you? Do you remember that word? If I'm talking to one person who's my friend, how would I say you? Would I be formal or would I be informal? What's that word? Do y'all remember that word? Very good, Malia. Anyone else? Very good, Joe Marion. Okay. Yes, we would say tú, right? Tú, you. Okay. That's if we're talking to somebody who is our friend or somebody who's younger than us or family member or something like that, right? What if we're talking to someone that we don't know? one person that we don't know, and we need to be polite. The tú becomes what? Very good, Malia. Anyone else? How are we polite? Yes, that would be plural, Marlacia, right? So what would it be if it was just one person? Anyone? Be usted, right? Yeah, absolutely. Usted. Okay. So take a look at my screen real quick, you guys. This, I just published this, so you may have to refresh your screen in Canvas. But this is our visual guide. Of course, it's in there in your library all the time. And this is when we're talking to somebody or when we're talking about somebody, okay? And for those of you who didn't have me in class last year, we need to remember something really important here, okay? So when we do these like column things, right? Everything on the left is always going to be singular, right? Everything on the right is always going to be plural. Now, why does it matter? Well, it does matter because when we make like a mental image in our head, right, of these things, we can use it as like a process of elimination. Like which verb am I supposed to use, or which one do I match it up with, or whatever, right? So if I can remember in that mental image in my head that when we do these columns or charts, if you will, that everything on the left is going to be singular and everything on the right is going to be plural. Okay. So let's just look at this real quick. We know that I is yo and you is tú with the accent mark, because without the accent mark, it changes meaning. Okay. Without the accent mark, it means your, and that's not what we're saying here. We're talking to somebody here and we want to say you. Okay. And that's our informal. Tú is our informal, right? He is el, again, with the accent mark, because without it, it means the. Okay. Ella, el becomes ella. And then if we need to be formal with that one person, we're going to use usted. So our singulars are yo, tú, él, ella, and usted. Okay. Our plurals are we and they. And so nosotros or nosotras. They is going to be ellos or ellas. And then our plural is going to be ustedes. And notice, you guys, right here that ustedes is formal or informal. So the important part about it is ustedes is plural. It's how we say you all, you guys, all of you. Okay. So it can be a little tricky to remember that it's both formal and informal. Basically, it's easier to remember that it's just plural. So nosotros, ellos, ellas, and then ustedes. Now, one of the tricks of this, let's pretend, and we're not going to do it today. Let's pretend that there's I give you guys a sentence. And the sentence is singular. It's written in the singular, right? Yo soy alta. I don't know, whatever. Okay, a simple sentence. And I say to you, let's make this sentence plural. Okay. Well, if the sentence is yo, then how do I know what's plural of yo? Look, you just go across. Okay. Nosotros. So the plural of yo is nosotros, because even if we think about it in English, if we say like Bob and I go to the store. Who's going to the store? Me and Bob. Bob and I are going to the store. So anytime, you guys, you see that y, yo in Spanish and I, that is going to be we. Yeah. And we is nosotros. Like my little writing there, kind of sloppy. Okay. So in Spanish, if it's, Bob y yo, Maria y yo, anytime you see that and I, it's always going to be we because you're including yourself, just like we would in English. Okay. So then how do these things work left to right, singular, plural? Well, we're not going to worry about vosotros in this class. Vosotros is only used in Spain, so we're not going to worry about it. So we have to match up down this way, yeah, for the tú. That's our plural. Tú becomes ustedes. Él becomes ellos. And ella becomes ellas. And of course, usted becomes ustedes. Okay, so we match from left to right. So if you were given a sentence and I say put it in the plural, right, then that's what you need to do. You just go across the column. Does that make sense to everybody? Give me a thumbs up. Yeah. Okay. Muy bien. Anyone else have a pregunta? Question? No pregunta? Okay, I'm gonna stop sharing that for just a second. That's in your resource library. Remember, you guys, that's why that resource library is so helpful. Okay. Anything you need to find is going to be there. Okay. All right. So let me see. Let me go back one. Sorry, hold on. Let me see if this will open for us. And then it'll be the last thing we do together today, but I just want to make sure that it will open. Okay. So let's see. All right. Okay. All right. I'm going to put a link in the chat one last time today. Okay. Like I said, it'll be last thing we do today. That's kind of together. All right. Click on that, please. And then here's the code. Right. And then let me know if it's not working for you. Okay, I see Malia. You're working on it. Marion is there. Marleisha. Okay. All right, good. All right, good. So you guys were all able to make it in. Okay. So give this a try. Is it gonna I'll check and Go Guardian to see if it's working for everyone. Yeah, looks like it is. Now, so remember the key here is, are you talking to them? Are you talking about them? Are you saying you or you all? Are you saying he, she, or they? Okay. And this kind of helps me know, you guys, if you need a little more practice with this or less practice or whatever. Okay. Now, talking to versus about. Yeah. All right, we got a three-way tie. Good job, Arshad. Jojo, good job. Good job, Malia. Okay, one more minute, you guys, because I want to make sure you have time to do something else today. Yay, good job. All right, nicely done. Okay, we'll practice those some more. I know they can be, and we'll see them as we read and do stuff. Okay, so go ahead and back out of that, you guys. And if you don't mind, meet me back in Canvas. And I'm going to view as student. Okay. And I'm going to share my screen. So if you guys meet me in Canvas and go to the Let's Review, go to the Let's Review module. Did you get pushed out, Marlecia? Yeah. All right. So we're in the Let's Review thing and module. And here are the question words review from yesterday. We want to make sure we get those done. We also did this your turn. What is a cognate? And then today, let's do our colors. Notice there's due dates on here, right, you guys? So you can see the due date. So let's click on los colores, just so I can go through the instructions with you. Okay. So our instructions say, read the visual very carefully. Colors are describing words and therefore must change their spelling based on what is being described. Consider the 4 criteria: masculine, feminine, singular, and plural. For example, el caballo is masculine and singular, so blanco must be spelled with an O. If we had multiple horses, el would become los, and we would add an S, right? Caballos. And then blanco would become blancos, and you would do the same for feminine. Okay, so if we look at here, we do have some examples. La regla es roja would become, if it's plural, las reglas, and then S would become son, and then rojas. Okay, so you have examples here to follow. In the big column over here, you have the actual words that end in an O or an A. But if we look at this shorter column, verde, verdes, gris, grises, marrón, marrones, azul, azules, this tells us that those are the ones that don't end in an O or an A. And so you don't have to change their spelling unless your sentence is plural. Okay, so verde will always be verde unless you're describing more than one item, then it would become verdes. Gris is always going to be gris unless you're describing more than one item, then it's grises. So for this short column, it doesn't matter masculine or feminine. It only matters singular or plural. Okay, So you guys should see, click on annotation here. I'm hoping it comes up. No, it's not going to come up for us. Is it coming up for you guys and just not for me? What if it's in an upload? No. More. No, it's not coming up for us. There it is. I guess you got to play with it a little bit. Okay, give me a thumbs up if it's opening up for you. It should look like this with the little panda bear. You may have to click on and off it like I had to do. Is it opening for you? Jomarian, Arshad, Malia, Marlacia. Let's see where you guys are. Yeah. Brooklyn. Yeah. You may have to click back and forth on that, on the annotation button. Okay, Marlacia's in. You just kind of have to play with it a little bit. How about you, Malia? Is the thing actually opening for you? It should look like this. Okay, so I want to take a look at my screen. If you're still struggling with it, that's okay. Just take a look at my screen real fast. Okay. Brooklyn, Marlacia, ready? Malia? Okay. So if we look at let's just do number 2. ¿De qué color es la hamburguesa? It doesn't even matter if you know what the words mean. You just need to be able to figure out if they're masculine or feminine, singular or plural. So we have our example up here, right, for egg. And we want to say the egg is white and yellow. Okay. So let's just say, what color is a hamburger? Well, a hamburger is brown, let's just say. So I would open my text box up here. Okay, you with me, Brooklyn? I would come down to my sentence. Wants to know what color is the hamburger. I'm going to follow the example and I'm going to say la hamburguesa es. And then what is brown? I could scroll up, right, and see what is brown and say marron. Okay, period. It's brown. And because marron is one of the ones on that short list, I don't have to worry about making it masculine or feminine. Okay. Let's look at number 5. ¿De qué color es la limonada? Lemonade. It's feminine. La limonada es, and yellow, right? Lemonade is yellow. So amarillo, except limonada is feminine. So I need to make that an A, amarilla. Okay. All right. Any questions about how to do this or work this thing? So you're going to use this text box thing up here to type in your answers. Now, if we scroll, listen carefully. I do not want you to do the second page. I only want you to do these 13 here. Okay, everybody clear about that? Do not do the second page. I mean, you can if you want to, but you're not required. Okay. Okay. So what we should be working on today is our colors practice, our escape room review, Our cognate. What is a cognate? And our question words review. Okay. And I know it's a lot, but it's just review. Okay. So it's in the chat, you guys. And it's in your review module. So let me know if you have a question. Okay, Arshad, Brooklyn, Marlacia, are you good? Did that open for you? If not, let me know. All right, Arshad, did you get that all that finished? We have about 6 minutes, so let me know if you need help. All right, Brooklyn, are you doing all right? Are you able to navigate well? You're good? Okay, perfect. Well, I know that colors one was kind of not opening very well, so. So Marion. Yep. So I'll just post this again in case you all missed it in the chat before the end of class here. Okay, there you go. Instructions. We have about 4 minutes left. Good job, Malia. Good progress. Nicely done. Good job, Brooklyn. Remember too, you guys, if you didn't want to scroll up and down, you could always open another Canvas tab and then go to the library and pull up the colors. There should be a visual of your colors in there. You know, that's another option. Okay, so we have about a minute left, you guys. Any questions? Preguntas? Any questions? Anything I can help with? Okay, one more time, you guys might want to check the chat so you can kind of see what I put in. All right, that's our time. You guys have a great Friday. You can always reach out to me in the inbox in Canvas if you have a question. Okay, guys, enjoy your weekend, the rest of your week. Nos vemos lunes. Okay, see you Monday. Adios. Gracias. Good job today. Adios, clase.